Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm here to give you guys my WWE Monday Night Raw review for October 1st, 2018. I watched the show last night, but then I watched it late, and it was so late when it was over. I just didn't want to do the video, so I'm doing it now because I'm just getting a chance now to do it. So let's just talk about this show. Um, we had Corey Graves, Michael Cole, and Renee Young on commentary for this show, and I'm just going to talk about the Shield stuff all at once because really it was kind of a lot of the show. So the show actually started off with Dean Ambrose coming out, and he pretty much addresses how he feels about his Shield brothers. He gets interviewed by Charlie Caruso, who has to be probably the worst interviewer in existence. Um, and she starts talking, um, and she asks him pretty much if he's going to turn on the Shield. And the WWE tries to make you believe like Dean Ambrose is gonna turn on the Shield because he says things like talking about how when he was by himself he was able to win the WWE and Intercontinental Championships, and he talks about how when Seth Rollins that when he got injured, Seth Rollins easily replaced him with a new tag team partner, and he says that maybe he should turn on the Shield. He even kind of alludes that he tipped over Roman Reigns' call and left him for dead, and that he should take Seth Rollins' Intercontinental Championship. But then he says that the Shield at the end of this day are his brothers, and he looks out for his brothers. And I do kind of like how he talks about how he's had to hold their dead weight, like help Seth Rollins win the Intercontinental Championship, save Roman Reigns' WWE Universal Championship, and but then he says at the end of the day the Shield are his brothers, and he stands by his brothers. And then Baron Corbin comes out, and he finds it very noble that Dean Ambrose is choosing his brothers, but he says he's going to give Dean Ambrose three options. He can either for matches he can have tonight. He can either face Roman Reigns for the Universal title, face Seth Rollins for the Intercontinental title, or he can face Braun Strowman. And um, I did kind of like that these were options. It really doesn't make any sense because it really wouldn't test Dean Ambrose's brotherhood to the Shield because um, who the hell wouldn't pick to go after a championship? I mean, who wouldn't want to be world champ? But I do kind of like what they were going with. So Dean Ambrose wants a fourth option. He wants to wrestle Baron Corbin, but Baron Corbin doesn't like that option, so he just chooses to have Dean Ambrose wrestle Braun Strowman. And I thought that Dean Ambrose and Braun Strowman had a really good match, actually. Braun Strowman dominates Dean Ambrose in the beginning, which was believable because he's a monster, and they tried to make it seem like Dean Ambrose wasn't prepared for this match. But then Dean Ambrose tries to work over the legs of Braun Strowman. He mounts a little bit of a comeback. He hits a suicide dive through the ropes. He jumps over the steps onto him, and then eventually hits Dirty Deeds on Braun Strowman, but it takes him too long to get the cover, so Strowman kicks out. And then Strowman hits a running power slam on Ambrose. He throws him on the outside, throws him in the barricade, and he's about to really finish Dean Ambrose, but Roman Reigns comes out and attacks Braun Strowman and causes him to win by disqualification. And then, you know, Dean Ambrose is kind of pissed that Roman Reigns just cost him the match. Seth Rollins even came out and was attacking Braun Strowman, and it was pretty much a 3-on-1 situation, which didn't make any sense. So Baron Corbin isn't happy about this, so he says that he's going to make a match right now between Roman Reigns and Dolph Ziggler. And then it cuts to a backstage segment where Dean Ambrose is pissed at Roman Reigns that he ran in and cost him the match. And Seth Rollins says he did it because he wanted to make sure that Ambrose didn't get hurt for his match at Super Showdown. Because they're having a 6-man tag with the Shield and the Dogs of War. And Dean Ambrose says, if I wasn't such a nice guy, I'd be Intercontinental Champion right now. So I like that. And then Roman Reigns and Dolph Ziggler had a match. And I gotta say, this crowd in Seattle, um, I do have to say, gullible, because they bought into every near fall that happened, and I just wasn't buying into any of it. And I didn't really care for this that much, just because of the fact that it was just a waste of time. We knew what was going to happen, so whatever. Roman Reigns beats Ziggler with a spear, and then later on in the night, Roman Reigns confronts Dean Ambrose, and Dean Ambrose kind of says that I should have chosen to beat you for the Universal title. And I did kind of like, so I do kind of like that they're building to a Shield breakup with Ambrose turning heel. If it was me, he already would have turned heel, but whatever. And then later on in the night, um, the Dogs of War backstage, and they talk about how Dean Ambrose is close on turning on the Shield, and Braun Strowman wants to have winners on his side. He doesn't want to have deadbeat losers or dead weight losers holding him back. And McIntyre and Rollins look at, McIntyre and Strowman look at Ziggler, and McIntyre. I forgot to mention Corbin had announced a match between McIntyre and Rollins. And I also want to mention that what didn't make any sense about the Roman Reigns Dolph Ziggler match was Roman Reigns wanted it to be a Universal Championship match, and Baron Corbin came back out and said that Roman Reigns isn't going to put that title on the line until he says so, because he runs the show around here, and he's not putting that title on the line until Crown Jewel. Um, all right, I'm just going to continue. Um, then, what was I? So yeah, I was talking about the Roman Reigns, Dolph Ziggler. I was talking about what didn't make any sense about that. So Roman Reigns wanted it to be a Universal title match, and Baron Corbin came out and said that Roman Reigns can't defend the championship again until Crown Jewel. What made no sense about this is Baron Corbin's the heel authority figure. Shouldn't he want Roman Reigns to put the championship on the line? And if I was Dolph Ziggler, I'd be pissed off about this. I'd be pissed off at Baron Corbin in general because he made me use my rematch clause for the Intercontinental Championship, and he just potentially cost me a chance at the Universal title. So I didn't think that made any sense. And then we had a really good match with Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre. I thought they had a really good match. I love the Falcon Arrow that Rollins hit on McIntyre, the sidewalk slam that McIntyre hit into the apron. They just had a really good match with each other. And then Ziggler, Dolph Ziggler's mute comes out, and Rollins tries to hit the stomp on him, but then McIntyre hits the Claymore kick on Rollins for the win. And afterwards, Ziggler and McIntyre beat down Rollins. Roman Reigns comes out to even the odds, but then Braun Strowman comes out, and Ambrose comes out with, I don't know what it was, but some sort of like piece of an axe, but it didn't have the actual blade on it. So he comes out and looks like he's even the odds, but then Strowman runs him over, and they completely lay out the Shield. And the Dogs of War mark their pose. So I liked this stuff. And overall, I did like what they did with the Shield on Raw this week, but I just thought they spent way too much time on that storyline just because of the fact that, um, you know, um, I just thought the first hour of the show was the Shield segment, then the end was Rollins versus McIntyre. I just thought it was just way too much. But I really hope they turn Ambrose Sunday. Saturday. I'm used to pay-per-views being on Sunday. But I don't think he is turning. I think the WWE is just pulling the rug over our eyes again. And he won't turn. And then we're all going to be sad. So, but I did like this, but I'll hate it next week. If Ambrose doesn't turn. Then we have the crap that took place on Raw this week. We had Connor of the Ascension beat Bobby Roode. That just shows you right there what the WWE thinks of Bobby Roode. He's just flat out enhancement talent. He's just he's just being buried pretty much. It's a pathetic. This tag team with Chad Gable isn't working. It's just, it's really frustrating because a lot of people have all these high hopes for the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, and Cody Rhodes coming back to WWE if they do next year, and they think they're going to be used greatly. but I look at somebody like Bobby Roode who fits the WWE, the WWE superstar perfectly, and he's just being used like a joke. It's just ridiculous. So I wouldn't get my hopes up on that one. Then you had the B team beat the Revival, which the Revival are being used like such jokes right now too. They didn't get an entrance and they lost in embarrassing fashion. Um, and then afterwards, AOP came out and attacked the B team, which I did like, and then Baron Corbin congratulated him backstage. And this show just had way too much Baron Corbin on it, but that's really not saying much on my end because since I don't like Baron Corbin, any Baron Corbin for me is too much Baron Corbin. What else was crappy on Raw this week? You had the Riot Squad cut a crappy promo. That was just bad. You had Alicia Fox lose to Bayley, and Finn Balor just get booked like an absolute geek. I guess I really shouldn't be that mad at this because this is supposed to build up Mixed Match Challenge, and you're kind of supposed to be a little bit funny on that show, but still, Finn Balor is just completely irrelevant. Just sad. Um, the Moment of Bliss then I thought was alright. Where Alexa Bliss was talking about how Trish Stratus was extremely rude to her when she tried to get an autograph by burping in her face and whipping up like a picture and charging us $50. So I thought that was a nice segment, but it wasn't I wasn't like blown away by it or anything. But overall I thought that was fine. I liked Ronda Rousey versus Ruby Riott. However, it did kind of feel like this match was just there, and it just really doesn't feel like to me how Ronda Rousey should be booked. She should be booked like an absolute badass that just goes in there and beats people like that. But that's just me, especially since Ruby Riott is pretty irrelevant. And I did like Liv Morgan's new hairdo this week. I thought that was cool. I didn't like Alicia Fox's new hairdo this week though, but that's just personal preference right there. Well, let's get to the two segments that really made this show. So we was we were supposed to have a match with Bobby Lashley and Kevin Owens, but before that, Elias and Kevin Owens have a backstage segment first, where Kevin Owens shows where Kevin Owens talks about how Elias gets all this stuff, all this food and water before all these accommodations before he goes out and performs. And the guy comes over and hands over cashews, and Elias throws it in the guy's face. And I thought that was just awesome. And then you had Elias and Kevin Owens have the Sean segment, and Elias and Kevin Owens were talking about how they were the perfect tag team with each other, and um, they talked about how John Cena and Bobby Lashley teaming up together makes no sense. And then Elias drops the line that says it makes as much sense as Seattle having a sports team. And this really struck a chord with Seattle. Everybody was just absolute, like the crowd booed this right out of the building, and I mean booed. Like these were loud boos. Seattle were not happy about this, and this was a really surreal segment. I've never seen sports. Elias just can do the sports heat really well, and I thought this was just awesome. This is something that you can't script. Now the story behind this is, I guess, NBA took away the Supersonics from Seattle, so this is why everyone's pissed off about it. But I thought this was great. Normally I'm kind of like the person that hates it when wrestlers use the cheap heat, but this is when the cheap heat worked, and Elias just really makes the cheap heat work. And if Elias ever goes face, he can never be a baby face in Seattle after a comment like that. And it wasn't just, and they let this play out for a while. And I did kind of like it because Kevin Owens talked about how he's not a sports guy, so it went over his head. But Seattle must be booing because it's true. But the boos were so loud, Kevin Owens and Elias had to scream over the boos of the audience. And the cameraman filmed it, and Elias wanted the spotlight to be turned off. This was awesome. And then what ends up happening is yeah, so Kevin O. So that's what happens with that. And they talk about how John Cena is living up to one of his catchphrases because we never see him. And they talk about how John Cena has to wrestle guys like Elias and Kevin Owens to stay relevant. Um, and then they get cut off by Leo Rush. Leo Rush says that Kevin Owens shouldn't be overlooking Bobby Lashley. And then we have the Bobby Lashley-Kevin Owens match. It does suck that Bobby Lashley, though, is just so irrelevant right now. Well, I shouldn't say that. That the crowd really doesn't seem to care about Bobby Lashley and how bad the WWE screwed up his return, but whatever. What ends up happening is they have a match. Elias puts Leo Rush in the phone Nelson, and Kevin Owens beats him with a fluke roll up. And then Elias and Kevin Owens beat the crap out of Lashley. And Leo Rush tries to go off the top rope, but Elias decks him with a right hand. And Kevin Owens lays out Bobby Lashley with a pump-up powerbomb, and then that was the end of the segment. So I like this segment a lot. If you have not watched the segment with Kevin Owens and Elias, where they have the promo segment, check it out. It's awesome. I would like to see this tag team become a full-fledged tag team. Obviously, we know that one of them would turn on the other, but I think they actually are a really good duo together. Kevin Owens is just a really good duo with anybody. I think it's awesome. But then we get to what my favorite part of Raw was, and that was the Shawn Michaels promo segment. He comes out and talks about how he was originally just going to watch the Triple H Undertaker match at Super Showdown as a fan, but Undertaker made it personal when he got offended that he picked his best friend over the Undertaker. And he gives Kane a warning saying that if he gets involved in the matchup, he'll drop him where he stands. And then Kane's music goes off, and Kane actually comes out, which I didn't expect to see Kane. I didn't expect to see Kane until Saturday. I mean, I thought that was awesome. And then Kane attacks Shawn Michaels, and then the Undertaker's gone goes off, and the lights go out, and when they come back on, the Undertaker's in the ring, and Undertaker gets ready to tombstone Shawn Michaels, and Triple H runs out, and Triple H tries the best he can to fight off the Undertaker, but Undertaker and Kane lay out DX with choke slams, and then Undertaker lays out Triple H with a tombstone pile driver, and the Brothers of Destruction stand tall to end the segment. And I do like it because they did tease that Shawn Michaels might be coming back for one more match. Because, hold on, I gotta charge my computer. But they did tease that because he said that this is going to be the last time you're going to see Triple H and The Undertaker go at it one-on-one. And I like that a lot. So it does tease it because I did hear at Crown Jewel they want to do DX versus the Brothers of Destruction. I'd be all down for that. But it was awesome to see the Brothers of Destruction reunited. We haven't seen it in 3 years. So I thought it was awesome. And it's probably going to be the last time we're going to see it because we don't know how much longer Undertaker is going to be wrestling. And since Kane's the mayor of Knoxville, he probably won't be making many more WWE appearances. I'm surprised he's making the ones he is right now. And I'm wondering if he's getting a lot of hate from Knoxville. I hope not, but we'll have to wait and see. I do want to mention too that WWE has a new intro video for Then, Now, and Forever. I forgot to mention it last week, so they brought it out last week, and I'm mentioning it this week. I think it looks cool actually. I like the new video. I like the other one better, but this one's fine too. I like that they changed it up. I kind of like when it shows then, it shows like the past, and then now it shows the present, and then forever it kind of shows what it could be in the future. I like the new intro video, and I kind of hope they keep it for at least a few years. Because they had that other one for 6 years. They had it on the 1,000th episode of Raw in 2012. So I like the new intro video. But that's pretty much my review of Monday Night Raw. And I like the show, but I don't think it was a good show. I thought Raw had a lot of filler on it, and a lot of the show was dominated by the Shield Dogs of War feud. So if I had to give Raw a rating, it's between a C and a C+. But because I love the Brothers of Destruction, and I'm a very biased person when it comes to the Undertaker. I'm gonna give Raw a C plus, especially for the ending. That ending was awesome, and we got to see Shawn Michaels' bald hair, or Shawn Michaels bald, anyways. That's awesome right there in itself. So I'm gonna give Raw a C plus this week, and that's pretty much the end of this video. Leave you guys a thought in the comments of what you thought of Raw, and I'm gonna go watch SmackDown and then Mixed Match Challenge and give you guys my review of that. So that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you guys for watching this video. Please make sure you guys like, comment, and share this video so people will watch it. Make sure you guys subscribe to this channel for more content, and make sure you click on the bell so that way every time I upload a video, you guys will get the notifications for it. Make sure you check out my Halloween movie review series on my own The Talking Data channel, because I started that back up again, and you have to subscribe to that and click on the bell for that so you can find all those. And if you want to check out the Wrestling Rundown, go to the CM Brothers channel, subscribe, and click on the bell there so you guys can check that out. But that's pretty much it, guys. Talk to you later.